Here we go. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Vikki Johnson, and I'm so excited and honored to be coming to you tonight with this quick chat that I'm going to have with someone that I absolutely adore. That I was kind of going through my vocabulary earlier just to come up with some words. And the sweetest thing that I can say is that I just absolutely adore this woman that you see next to me, who I'm going to be talking with in just a moment. Nicole Roberts Jones is an incredible businesswoman. She's an incredible coach. She's an incredible friend, sister, mentor. And to me, on several occasions over the last, I don't know how many years, but several years, she has just been an angel for me personally and in my business. And so when given the opportunity to collaborate with her, it's a no-brainer for me. I didn't even have to think about it. When she reached out to me, I was like, absolutely yes. I don't even know what I'm saying yes to, but that's just how safe I feel. There are some people that there's this inherent trust, and I have that with Nicole Roberts Jones, which is huge for women, and especially huge for Black women, and even more huge for Black women in business. So Nicole checks all of those boxes for me and is a role model, is a mentor. She coaches me when she doesn't know she's coaching me because I'm watching her. And that just speaks to her impact and her influence and her insight and her experience. So Nicole Roberts Jones, I love you. I just want to start.
Don't make me cry at the beginning.
I'm
Look.
trying to make you cry because I've said this to you privately. I want to say it to you publicly. I've been a guest on your podcast, Amplify Your Brilliance, which was an amazing conversation. And if you have not seen that conversation, it's on my YouTube channel. It's on Nicole's YouTube channel. And I think I shared that a couple of days ago, even here on my Facebook page. So go back and watch it. It was a really transparent and vulnerable conversation that I felt safe having with Nicole, just talking about my journey and where I've come from. So that brings us to tonight. Again, I gave you her credentials, not all of them. There are a lot of them. So I want you to go to her page and follow her, Google her, go to her YouTube page, listen to her Amplify Your Brilliance podcast, and just see who she is and who she is connected to. And that will tell you what she does, because who she is what she does. She is an amplifier. She will catch you in all of your blind spots, shine a light on it, and then magnify it, and then toss you out there into the world. I was a lifeguard for years. And so one of the things, and a swim coach and a swim teacher, I was a swimming instructor. And one of the things I did, especially with non-swimmers, after I gave them the basics, we would take them, Nicole, to the deep end and just kind of throw them in the water and say, swim, like do what you know.
Right.
Right here. I'm watching you. I'm here to catch you.
I got you.
I will save you, right? Nothing's going to happen to you on my watch. And I feel like that's who you are for women in the business world. You equip us, you give us these basic skills, and then you gradually help us to amplify them. And then, like you are doing tonight, you're like, okay, I'm going to throw you out there in the deep end.
Right. And I love it. I love it because you're always, first of all, I have to say thank you to you because, being able to shine a light on a path of someone that's already bright, right? Was such a blessing. So thank you for allowing me to come into your space. The thing about powerful women, of course, we know there's a Bible verse that says iron sharpens iron, but an iron has to let another iron sharpen it. Okay, let me keep it real. And some people go do something called hateration, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing that I love about you, Vikki, is you honor everybody's shine. And even your whole conversation around soul wealth, okay, and I want you guys to get this. You could be wealthy in the bank and not wealthy in your soul. You could have all these things and have left your soul behind and wonder why the things don't fulfill you, because that's not meant to fulfill you. And so I love that even on the podcast, you were willing to tell the story, because had you not done that, because people see you as a powerful woman because that's who you be, right? But they don't know the journey.
Right.
They don't see the back, what the Wizard of Oz, when they pulled the curtain back and they saw Oz, who Oz really was, right? Yeah. Is when you pull the curtain back and they see the woman in the journey. And so thank you for being transparent, and for, the reason why we connected is because we were crying. I remember the first time I met you, and we were transparent with each other, girls. So we knew from the get-go that transparency was welcomed and safe. And so I thank you for that. I thank you.
Do you remember the first time we met? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember at an event in 2000. Was that 14 or 13?
At Lucinda Cross's first conference at the
I think that was 2013, wasn't it? I don't even remember.
You were in that room rocking that library. It looked like this, my background.
Right. That's so funny that you remember that. Yes, oh, right.
Yeah, I remember. I can see it right now. You were just rocking that room, and that was an amazing event. Shout out to Lucinda Cross, who is also endeared to my heart. But that is where we met. And then just serendipitously over time, I saw you at the Black Enterprise Women.
Yeah, we just kept bumping into each other, right?
I saw you there. Then I saw you in Los Angeles, and, in California at Lisa Nichols' event. And we just our paths just kept crossing. And I knew, like, every time I saw you, I was like,
because you know what that is, we have that God connection, at the root of everything I do. What I'm doing is my calling. Most people think calling is only reserved for, and I'm sorry, I'm saying calling, and my boobs are trying to be called out, so excuse my boobs for being excited tonight. Anyway, most people think calling, and I have to acknowledge it because I'll be self-conscious, so let me say that and then I can let it go. So anyway, most people think calling is reserved for people in a pulpit. Now, while Vikki is a minister, right? I have ministry. There's a difference, right? So yes. I may not be called to serve inside the walls of a church, but let us be clear. If you look up the definition for ministry, it says serving people, right? We yes. all have a level of service that our gift has given us room to do or be. And so I'm clear, my calling in this thing called life, I like to call myself a marketplace apostle. I made that up, right?
That's good.
So somebody else might say that, but really my purpose is to help women, number one, understand their purpose and get paid for it. And so, I've had the privilege to, and sometimes, like Vikki says, we'll be talking, by the way, if you guys see me looking to the side, I'm looking at comments. I'm not paying y'all attention. I'm looking at your comments, right? But, the thing that has connected us is because, we both are in our purpose. Mm-hmm. And I remember having maybe our second or third connection where you were at that crossroad where you had a decision to make. Do I go all the way in, or do I just stick my toe in a little bit, right? And you knew in your soul God was calling you all the way in. And I'm proud of you because you have gone all the way in, girl.
I'm all the way in. But at that moment, at that particular conversation, I was sitting here thinking about that. That was some years ago as well. I was definitely in a crossroads. Like I've had multiple crossroads. Mm-hmm. And as I reflect, Nicole, you've been there at each one. And this particular night, I was sitting in my car. I will never forget it. I needed some inspiration. So I got in my car and went driving, looking at model homes. I just needed something to lift me. So I got in my car, went, and I was sitting outside this model home, and we were talking, and you shared with me your journey and where you came from and how you were not always doing what you're doing today. Mm-hmm. And how someone did for you what you were doing for me. And I remember just sitting there like I want to go, like I want to leap. I just don't feel it. It was that conflict, that turmoil, and now I can identify it. It was a lack of confidence. As confident as I am in multiple areas, in that moment, as you were describing what to do and how I can do it. And Vikki, this is what you can do. ABC 1, 2, 3. I heard you and I wanted it, but my fear and lack of confidence would not allow me to process it completely.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're talking, I think about, how one plant, one waters, but God gives the increase.
Yes, girl.
And
Come
in
on.
each stage, you have been there.
Mm.
And I want to just share with those women, particularly who have a dream, who have a vision, who have a calling, who have a knowing, but you can't put your finger on it. I'm not quite sure what my purpose is. I want to say, keep showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep showing up. Keep doing the next thing. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Keep showing up for you. Keep
Yep.
looking forward. And
Yep.
what happens is a Nicole Roberts Jones or someone like a Nicole Roberts Jones
Mm-hmm.
or your earth angel or whoever is assigned to your life and your path
Mm-hmm.
and your purpose will be there because the lesson, the growing, the evolution, the strengthening, the
Mm-hmm.
muscle building is in your movement,
Yep.
even if you're taking baby steps.
And here's the other thing too, when you get to a certain level of success, and this is where I believe you are, and this is where I know I was. And the thing that she and I have in common is we both worked in entertainment, right?
Yep.
So when you work in entertainment, in my humble opinion, I think it's even harder because not only do you have a check, but you also have your name on lists, a lot of lists that people
Yep.
can't get on, right? And it looks really sexy. And so when you start telling your friends or your family that you want to do something different, they start saying stuff like, "Are you crazy?"
Right.
Right? And so it makes it even harder to be at this catalyst moment. It's called being in a comfort zone.
Yep.
And I'm saying that because what I have learned is comfort zones is where dreams go to die.
Wow. Y'all better
Because
write that down.
let me tell you, when God is rumbling something inside of you, it's always going to be bigger than where you are. What's that Bible verse? I think it's Ephesians 3:20. Please correct me because I know the Bible, but I will misquote it all. So it's to him that will do exceedingly
Yep.
abundantly above all you can ask or think. Now, look, most of us recite Bible verses. I probably have known that Bible verse since I was 10. But when I started really thinking about what that Bible verse means, to him that's able to do beyond what you could even fathom,
Right.
right? So it's got to be bigger than where you already are. So that moment for you, Vikki, was God calling you to you exceedingly. He ain't done yet, abundantly above all, right? Because
Oh
there's
my
still
God.
more.
Yeah.
He takes you through stages because he can't give it all to you because you probably would faint. And
Right.
some of us wouldn't wake up because it's so big, right? So he has to give it to us in stages. And
Yeah.
then you're like shocked and you got to push yourself to that stage. How do I know? Because I never can teach or coach anything that I ain't been through. I'm not somebody that reads words on the paper. I'm living, breathing example for every person. I pray every morning, Lord, only bring women to me that have gone through what I've been through. It may not be exactly the same, but I want to be able to be in the journey with you. I'm just 10 steps ahead. So I can always tell a story. I done worked so many jobs. I'm sure there's almost every job I've had. People are blown away. Some of my clients, when they say, "Oh, I worked in education." "Oh, girl, I did too." It's like, really? What have you not done? It's like, I know I've had 20 jobs, but I want you guys to get this. I love that you also said keep showing up because here's the thing, you guys. If I tell my story real quick, so I've been doing this year 27 years. 27. When I say that, I'm like, dang, how old am I, right? And so some 17 years in now, I can tell you a story when I started, which is a good story too, but I want to tell you a story when it was time for me to shift. And I'm saying that because some of you that are listening may be in that place right now. So I've been doing this 27 years, right? So 1993 is when I started. My allergies are acting crazy tonight. I don't have corona, y'all ain't got to worry about that. So 1993. So by 2010, my business looked successful. I had gotten to the place I dreamed of when I started. So back then I had a nonprofit and a for-profit. So in my nonprofit, I had 10 chapters in 10 states working with African-American teenage girls, which is faith-based, which is how I started in this work, right? And we were growing by leaps and bounds. In my for-profit, I was coaching women like all of you, really purpose development is really what I do, right? Even purpose is such an overused word, so I call it bankrolling your brilliance, right? So I was really doing that work. And so because I couldn't take any more women, my first book came out in 2010. That's my fourth book. So my first book came out in 2010. And I thought I'd give it to women because I can't coach anymore, but I can at least give them the principles and it'll be a fundraiser for my nonprofit. But when that book came out, I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. So I was doing what I knew I was purposed to do. I loved every minute of it. But I want y'all to get this. I was only making $13,000 a year in my business. $13,000. Hello. I didn't start my business to be under the poverty level. I need y'all to get this. So yes, I still had a daytime job to pay for my nighttime calling. And I still remember this like it was yesterday, and I didn't know this was going to be my breakthrough. And by the way, if y'all have questions as I'm sharing stuff, please ask, okay? So listen, that's me. I've had 100 jobs, right, Vanessa? So listen, I prayed, Lord, no, let me say this. It was November 7th, 2010. I had just gotten home from another speaking weekend. My daytime job, I was an adjunct professor at Boston University. I live in Boston, by the way, y'all. So literally, I hadn't looked at the syllabus. So I didn't even have a lecture note. I didn't know what books I told my students to read, let alone had I read them. Probably not, right? And I was just tired. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And by the way, my class was at 8 a.m. So I didn't have time to try to figure it out, right? So I remember saying, Lord, if this is really my purpose, you better show me something because I'm done. And then right when I prayed that, I felt in conflict. First of all, how dare I say that to God? But second of all, how dare I want to quit when I know this is what I'm meant to do? But this little $13,000 wasn't cutting it. So what I realized in that moment is I had taken myself as far as I could take myself. What I realized in that moment was the same place you were in that day I talked to you, Dr. Vikki, is I was trying to do everything staying in my comfort zone. So I was doing stuff like, oh, I'm gonna work an extra hour tonight. Oh, I'm gonna work 2 extra hours on the weekend. Oh, I'm gonna work on Sunday all afternoon after church. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Doesn't that mean insanity? Hello, that's the meaning of insanity. And so for me, I didn't want to, listen, I had been investing sweat equity, meaning I was working really, really hard, but I hadn't invested any money in my business. So you can invest cash equity or sweat equity. And so because I was only doing sweat equity, I was only doing what I knew to do. And if I was going to grow into my abundantly above all I could ask or think, I needed to find somebody that knew what I didn't know, that could teach me what I didn't even think about. So I had to hire a coach. So to make a long story short, my coach cost me $30,000. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't afford it, but I couldn't afford not to do it. But literally what happened is in my coaching session, my coach started to show me. Like you said earlier, blind spots. Again, same girl, we went through the same thing, right? She started showing me all the things I didn't know. So when I worked in entertainment, I worked in talent development and casting. What do I do now? Talent development and casting. Hello. That's what I'm doing for entrepreneurs. I'm helping you take your talent, develop it, and really produce your programming around it. So once I got clear on that, I took the system I've been using as a professor, because that's what I also taught as an adjunct professor, was program development, right? And that's when my coach was like, duh, Nicole, wait a minute. Didn't you say you worked in casting? Didn't you say you teach program development? That's your master's degree, your expertise. Hello. Didn't you used to have a consulting practice going into businesses development programs? Many of us overlook our genius. So I took all my genius with the help of my coach and I started to package it. I went from 13,000 to over 200,000 in 6 months. So I'm sharing that with you because I need you guys to get wherever you are in your journey. If you've been desiring to start a business, if you've been praying about it. Now, let me say this with all loving you, all loving me rather. Faith without works is dead, right? So we've been praying about it and praying about it. This was me too. And God was like, listen, I gave you the gift. I ain't going to activate it too. Get your butt up and do something with it. And that's what it took me hiring that coach to do that. And it made all the difference for me. So that's why, Dr. Vikki, I'm so passionate about it, because once I got it, I was like, I'm gonna teach every woman that I can. So literally my life now is dedicated to hold the space for women to be able to truly bankroll their brilliance.
Bankroll your brilliance. And we all have some brilliance, right? In my book, Soul Wealth, I talk about each of us have been given a witty invention. And or the capacity to create something that will allow us to take our gifts to the world and bring us before greatness.
Yes.
And that is what you do. And that is who you are. And that is why we're here tonight. You know, I want to, in our last few moments together, just talk about your upcoming conference, Be the Answer. Well, your virtual live intensive is what it is. 2 days, October 2nd through the 3rd. And I'm honored to be able to share Soul Wealth during Be the Answer, the live intensive. But can you just share with those women who our conversation tonight is resonating? Like, they're like, I want to get connected. I
Yes.
want to be in a space with Nicole, with Vikki, with other women. I want to learn. If this is speaking to you, then I want you to pay close attention to what Nicole is about to share in the next few moments. And y'all know I don't do this, right? This is not something that I do if I don't wholeheartedly believe in it. And I'm telling you, I wholeheartedly, full body full body yes. I have a full body yes about this room. It's a virtual room. And if you're a woman in business, an emerging business, you have a dream, you have a vision, you have the idea and you don't know what to do next, you were like me in your comfort zone and you've taken yourself as far as you can take you, then listen to this invitation, because that's what it is, to be in this room. I say to the women that I mentor, you need to be in the room. And sometimes being in the room is not always about who's in front of the room. Sometimes it's about who's sitting next to you.
Exactly.
Right? Like being in the room is the power. And you are worthy of being in this room, and you are worth being in this room. And your dreams and your vision and all of the things that you've considered during this time of quarantine and slowdown and COVID-19, God slowed the world down for this moment. Like, this is your moment of destiny. And I'm not saying that to play on your emotions. I'm saying that to speak to your heart, your mind, and your soul. Like, this is your moment. So would you share, Nicole, be the answer coming up on October 2nd through the 3rd?
And I have to piggyback. I can't not say this. God's intentional. Yep. So nothing happens in this world without God's approval, the good and the bad, dare I say, right? And so all things work together for the good, whether they feel good or not. At some point, if we hang in there, it will become good. Yep. So this coronavirus hasn't all been good. It hasn't. However, God put us on pause for a reason. I love that you said that, because I've been saying this to my clients, like, what you gonna do with your pause? Are you gonna come out and be the same as you were on the other side? What's the point, right? So for those of you that literally, and you said this, have this burning desire and you don't know where to begin your business, or you want to start and you know you want to start it and you can't quit your day job, and you shouldn't, right? Most people would tell you to quit. They tell you to step out on faith, but here's the thing. God wrote a whole book in the Bible called Proverbs. That's a book of wisdom. So I'm going to make sure you have wise faith. Don't be stupid and just quit and not know where your money's coming from. Because to start your business, you got to have lights and you got to have internet and you got to eat. Hello, right? Why would God love you and want you to struggle? Yeah, he ain't that kind of God. So with that said, you have ideas, desires, dreams, you don't know where to start, right? I'm going to teach you how to grow it alongside. And those of you that have already started the business and you haven't hit predictable revenue, I'm talking to you. Now, before I tell you what be the answer is, let me tell you who it also is for. It's for service providers, right? You provide some kind of service. So whether that's a coach, whether that's a speaker, whether that's an accountant, a lawyer, you're serving, you're taking your brilliance and you're helping somebody move their life or their business forward. So if you have a product-based business, I can't help you unless you're willing to take your intellectual property that you created that product-based business around. What I mean by that, and then I'm going to say what be the answers, but I want to make sure you guys know who this is for, because I'm not somebody who takes your money. I don't sell, I serve. Okay. So with that said, I have a client who has a lipstick applicator line. And she said, oh, you can't help me. Like, I love a challenge. Don't tell me I can't help you, right? Well, if I can, I'm going to tell you I can. But I said, how many people call you and pick your brain? She said, ooh, a lot. I said, about what? Oh, how to manufacture. Hello. And how much do you charge for that? Oh, I don't. You're giving away, you pimping your gift pretty much, right? You're giving away your intellectual property for free. And so, yes, I helped her create a manufacturing coaching program. So that's what I'm talking about. How do you take the thing that you are brilliant at and package it? Because people need it. So with that said, here's what be the answer is. It's a 2-day intensive. I love that Vikki said, listen, this is not an event. Now I have 2 speakers and that's it. Vikki's one, and she's at lunch because you need a break from me at some point and I need to eat because I'm teaching you all day long. You have an opening speaker real quick each day. They're like 20 minutes. And then you have Vikki about 30 minutes for lunch, right? But outside of that, the whole time it's me and you. And I'm coaching you for those 2 days to move your purpose forward. So this is not motivation or inspiration. This is called implementation, okay? So with that, I'm gonna tell you what I'm teaching real quick, and more of it is on the website, betheanswerevent.com, okay? So I spell out more. So first part of day one is mastery of you. How do you figure out what your niche is? And by the way, if you have questions, y'all ask. That's why I keep looking over here. I love y'all comments. I'm gonna come in and like them all and all that fun stuff after. But anyway, mastery of you. So why most women fail in their businesses? By the way, there's a Forbes article that talks about 8 out of 10 businesses that start fail. 8 out of 10, 80% fail because their foundation is bad, meaning that they haven't niched out their business all the way. So if you are so vague or you think you have it niched down and you don't, and then you create products and services, by the way, the reason why I wasn't making any money is because I had niched out my business. That's the first thing I had to do, right? So it doesn't matter. Listen, I had a master's degree. I was an adjunct professor at 2. I taught at Boston University, and before I moved from LA, I taught at USC for 4 years. So it wasn't that I wasn't smart. I just hadn't niched out my business, right? And so really we start day one to make sure your foundation is set. So that's where we talk about mastery of you. How do you understand who your gift is for? And then how do you articulate it? Right? So that's day one. It's way longer than that, but I'm talking fast. Excuse me, that's the first part of day one. Then we have lunch. After lunch, we then optimize it. Many people talk about marketing. You need more than marketing. You need to build relationships. So how do you do that and allow people to see the value that you bring? I often use the example of when I was dating my husband. If he would have brought my ring to our first date, I would have been like, calling my girlfriend, please come get me this man. It's crazy, right? But that's what so many people do. They start a business, they build a website, and they think, oh, people gonna buy. No, they aren't, because they don't know you. So you've got to have a successful courtship for a while. So that's what optimize. We look at how do you do it, because there's not a cookie cutter approach. Anybody that sells you a cookie cutter approach, you need to run, because they're leaving out your recipe, your secret sauce, right? So that's day one. Then day two, which is the thing everybody wants, is revenue. So mind you, but not more, MOR. Revenue. So we create 6 streams of revenue that you should have in your business live together, right? And then we end, and enough said with that, right? So you can dominate in your lane. And that's not cookie cutter either. And I do hot seats with people too. So that's what I mean. I'm coaching you, you're asking me questions. I'm like, no, girl, you know you can't do that, right? So, or does that make sense for your ideal client? So I really am coaching you that day, those 2 days. The last part of day 2 is what I call execution. Because how many times have you been to conferences or events and you've got great insight? You go home, you're excited, and you look at all your notes and you don't know what to do. Because it's all good. But do I start on page 1 or page 10? And then how does page 10 go with page 1? Right? I know I've been to plenty of conferences. I just got to pray over the notebook, and then I still don't know what to do. Because listen, I need to hire a coach. I know God has probably said, girl, bye. I can't help you with that. You need to figure all of that. I'm like, but I can't. Right? So I don't want that for you. So literally we walk through and create an execution plan. And I'm silly too. So we walk through.
All the notebooks I got.
Girl, I got so many notebooks. I have a whole, my husband's like, when you gonna throw those notebooks away? I'm like, I'm scared of throwing away. I might need it. I haven't needed them at all. I don't know why, but I keep them all, right? So you go home with the execution plan. So we create together live your 30, 60, 90-day plan. What you gonna do when this is over, right? So in addition to all that, real quick, it's virtual this year. We're still gonna network. You can tell I'm silly, so I like to have fun. You'll get a whole lot of Jesus and a whole lot of fun when you with me, period. And a whole lot of strategy, right? And then we also, as with those of you that enroll tonight, and we have a gift for you, so don't enroll yet. Be the Answer event is everything I'm saying in much more detail. You get an online program called Big Bold Move. So we start getting your mindset in alignment with where we're going, right? So we can expand your territory. Dr. Vikki is coming to get your mindset and your soul in alignment, right? Because this is not about you and me. It's about all the people God has for you to serve, people that are waiting for you. You're somebody's answered prayer. So we need you to get ready for that, right? Plus, I'm mailing a swag box to your house, right? So with that said, the value of everything you get is over $1,500, but I would never charge that. If you look at the website right now, it's $297, but guess what? I appreciate you, Justice. I wanted to gift Vikki's tribe with something special. So those of you, now listen, we have about 15 seats left. For those of you that know, like you know, $100 off. All you've got to do is send Vikki an inbox message, or Vikki will tell you how to do that in a second, and she'll give you the code, okay? And it's only for the first 10 of you, but let me say one last thing. Because I want to make sure you get your swag box by the time October 2nd rolls around. You can't register on October 1st. I'm not going to FedEx that to you next day. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? So I want y'all to get this. So I am cutting off, well, I'm not cutting it off. In order for us to guarantee you get your swag box, I need you to register by Tuesday. because then I can make sure my team can get everything to you without us being stressed out. Because listen, I need to be focused on praying and letting God use me. And I can't do that running back and forth and making sure stuff is happening, right? And so I need you to register by Tuesday so we can make sure you get your swag box, because in that box is your workbook. Plus, I'm sending you some gifts, yes, but your workbook is in that box, okay? And I need you to have it tangible so we can get busy to move your purpose forward in those 2 days. So betheanswerevent.com. And Dr. Vikki, you want to tell them how they can get their $100 off code from you?
Yeah, just send me an inbox. You can hit me right in my inbox on Facebook, and for the first 10, I'll send you what that code is.
Yay.
Go
So
right
don't
to
wait,
my
y'all.
inbox. I'm gonna check my inbox as soon as we're done talking tonight, and I will share the code with you so that you can be in this virtual room. Listen, Nicole has is responsible for how I get to show up in the world. And I am going to be in the seats as well, so that I can learn how to go. I want to stay outside of my comfort zone because, as she said, there is no growth inside of the comfort zone. I heard Stedman Graham say, there's no growth inside the comfort zone, and there's no comfort in the growth zone.
Right.
So, you want to be in a safe space. You want to be in a space where there is genuine connection. What I love about you also, Nicole, is that you're not transactional. You're very relational, and that's why you're blessed. And that's why I love you.
I love you too.
And so for those of you who are going to take advantage of this, I'm telling you, your life will never be the same. Again, go to my YouTube, go to Nicole's YouTube to check out our conversation and her Amplify Your Brilliance series. Like, she has many, many women that she has interviewed, and I am just one of the many that was blessed to be.
And can I tell you, even with that, sorry to interrupt you, but even with that, my goal in everything I do is to show you the way, right? Because when I started 27 years ago, how fat is that arm? When I started 27 years ago, I didn't have anywhere to go, right? And so it took me a long time to figure it out because I didn't have anywhere to go. And then ego was in my way. Oh, I'm always gonna keep it real, right? Because of all the titles I had and all the things I had been able to do, how dare I tell people I don't know what I'm doing? So so Amplify Your Brilliance is also showing you women that are successful, and they're telling their story of when they knew it was time for their next level. That's why I even do the podcast, because I really want you guys to get this. Don't be mediocre and don't settle. God never intended for you to settle.
Listen.
Never.
Never.
And so why would you? Why would you? I remember the guy I was dating before my husband. I had settled just a little bit. And when it was over, I was done with men. Done. Complete. Told God, you're going to be my husband. I'm done. I met my husband the next day after I prayed that prayer. But here's the thing. I had gotten so clear because I was so done. I had gotten so clear that when my husband tried to act a fool, he did it too. I was clear and said, look, baby, I love you. You better hope I'm here when you're ready, because I know you'll be back. And he was like, what? Because I was clear and uncompromising. I stopped settling. But what happened is it wasn't just about relationships. I got clear about my purpose, and I was so on fire by then that nothing was going to stop me. And so I want the same for you. To add to what you said, Dr. Vikki, and then I'll let you wrap up. I was on a call probably about 5 years ago. Ayanna Van Zant, I was on a mastermind call. Now, Ayanna Van Zant was a teacher on that call. And she said, if you don't do something that makes you want to pee on yourself, you ain't playing big enough.
Oh, listen, that's the truth.
Right. So being scared outside of comfort is normal, only for those that want to go after their abundantly above all. I'm always scared. Look, I always feel like I need to have on some Depends, because I'm always trying to go after my abundantly above all.
I am evolving. I'm in a space where I'm nervous, about what's coming. I haven't been able to really identify it with a word, because I'm a word person, but your Be the Answer experience and what's happening for me and my business has me nervous, to be honest. And so it's timely. That's what I'm saying. That the Be the Answer virtual live intensive is timely. It's going to be right in alignment with what's happening with me and what's happening with women who are connected to me. in
Yeah.
the Soul Wealth Tribe. And so I'm grateful for you, Nicole Roberts Jones. Thank you so much
I appreciate
for
you. It's been an
being
honor.
who
It's
you
been an
are.
honor and a privilege to be with you in this journey, to be able to call you a sister friend, girl. It's totally been an honor and a privilege.
Thank you so much. And I'll be looking for those first 10. Listen, don't miss it. Don't miss your window of opportunity.
BeTheAnswerEvent.com. I'm going to type it in the notes. BeTheAnswerEvent.com.
BeTheAnswerEvent.com. I will share the code with the first 10 in my inbox. And I look forward to seeing you in the room.
Yes.
And listen, regardless of whether you're in the room or not, go and grow and be everything that God intended for you to be the
Yes.
day that you were born. Thank you
Yes.
again, Nicole. Thank
Thank
you
you,
all
girl.
for watching tonight. I'm going to leave this interview up here. So those 10 seats might be gone by the time you watch this replay. It's all about time and opportunity coming together so destiny can manifest. So, hey, it's some good conversation, good dialogue, nevertheless. Go out and be the answer wherever you go. We are each called to be the salt of the earth, the light of the world, wherever we go, because God is great in us, through us, as us.
Yeah.
Amplify your brilliance, live your soul well, and be the answer. Good night, everyone. Peace.
Okay. Thank you.